It's 1 a.m. and you're on your phone in the bathroom so your wife doesn't see you. You're reading about some 19-year-old who claims he turned his stimulus check into a Lamborghini trading Dogecoin, and you're sitting there with $6,300 in checking, mortgage due in 8 days, your kid needs braces, and your 2014 Civic's check engine light has been on so long you've named it Gerald. You're thinking, am I the only person not getting rich? Meet Marcus. He's 29, an IT analyst making $71,000, drives a Honda Accord with 140,000 miles, married 2 years, rents a 2-bedroom for $1,850 per month. In November 2021, he put $8,000 into crypto, money that was supposed to be their house down payment fund. By December 2022, it was worth $1,847. He sold at the bottom because he was having panic attacks checking his phone. Marcus isn't alone. He's part of a statistical pattern so consistent, it might as well be a mathematical law. You're not missing out on the opportunity of a lifetime. You're watching the greatest wealth transfer scam of the 21st century play out in real time, and I'm about to show you exactly how it works, using math that the crypto industry desperately doesn't want you to see. Let's talk about who actually makes money in crypto. Spoiler, it's probably not you. Let's start with a number that should make everyone uncomfortable. According to a massive study by the Bank for International Settlements that analyzed crypto trading across 95 countries, somewhere between 73% and 81% of you watching this video will lose money if you invest in crypto. The average loss? $431, representing about 48% of what people invested. You put in $5,000. You walk away with $2,600. That's not volatility. That's a systematic transfer of wealth from your pocket to someone else's. The single largest group of crypto investors, about 29% of all users, are people making between $50,000 and $100,000 per year. That's you. Teachers, nurses, IT workers like Marcus, you're sitting there with maybe $3,000 invested. Meanwhile, households making over $100,000, which represent only 22% of users, control 40% of all holdings. It's trickle-down economics, except instead of waiting for wealth to trickle down, you're actively handing it upward and calling it decentralization. You're providing the participants. The wealthy are controlling the wealth. It's the exact inequality crypto was supposed to solve. Marcus learned this the hard way. That $8,000, if he'd invested it in an S&P 500 index fund, it would be worth $11,200 today. Instead, he panic sold for $1,847. Here's what that feels like in practice. It's refreshing Coinbase during your kid's soccer game when you should be watching them score. It's pretending you didn't see the low balance alert from your bank. It's seeing Bitcoin hit a new high 3 months after you sold at the bottom and having to leave the room so your wife doesn't see your face. Remember Super Bowl 2022? 6 crypto companies spent $54 million on ads seen by 99 million people. Crypto.com spent $100 million on a campaign starring Matt Damon, comparing buying crypto to climbing mountains, ending with "Fortune favors the brave." Marcus watched that ad. He texted his wife, "What if this is our shot?" 3 days later, he bought another $2,000 worth of Ethereum without telling her. Here's what Matt Damon didn't tell you. If you bought $1,000 of Bitcoin the day that ad aired, you'd have $331 1 year later. Fortune favored the people who sold to you. FTX ran a Super Bowl ad featuring Larry David dismissing crypto. That ad aged like milk in a hot car. Months later, FTX collapsed in an $8 billion fraud. Coinbase's bouncing QR code crashed their site with 20 million visits. They came back in 2026 with crypto for everybody. It's for everybody the same way a casino is for everybody. Anyone can play. But the house always wins, but the Super Bowl is just the appetizer. The real meal happens through influencers. Ben Armstrong, BitBoy Crypto, built 1 million subscribers charging $40,000 per video. For context, that's what a cardiac surgeon makes in a month, except the surgeon's patients generally survive. Armstrong promoted SafeMoon, later charged with fraud. He launched his own token, Bean, which lost 85% of its value. His followers lost money. He did fine. Kim Kardashian got fined $1.26 million by the SEC for promoting Ethereum Max without disclosing her $250,000 payment. That fine represented 0.07% of her net worth. For someone making $50,000 a year, that's like a $35 fine. The SEC charged 8 influencers who ran a pump and dump scheme, making $114 million while followers got crushed. The people telling you to buy, make money whether you win or lose. Here's what makes this work. Academic research shows FOMO triggers you to invest even after losing money. It's not rational, it's emotional. When your college roommate posts his new Tesla with "Thanks Ethereum" as the caption, when your coworker won't shut up about his 20 times gains, when every third YouTube ad shows some 25-year-old on a yacht, the psychological pressure becomes unbearable. You're not investing in technology, you're trying to stop feeling left behind. The biggest factor is timing. The BIS study found 75% of crypto users downloaded apps only after Bitcoin exceeded $20,000 in December 2020. You're not getting in early. You're getting in after it's been all over CNBC for 3 weeks. Here's the pattern. When prices rise, small retail investors buy while whales sell. When prices crash, you're still buying the dip while whales moved their money weeks ago. You're the exit liquidity. Marcus bought most of his crypto in November 2021 when Bitcoin was at $69,000. He was buying because the price was going up. Institutional investors were selling into that rally. He was their exit. Marcus sold at $1,847 after 13 months of checking his phone every hour, including during his anniversary dinner. During that period, the S&P 500 returned 45%. The boring index fund would have made him $3,600 in gains instead of costing him $6,153 in losses and nearly his marriage. Here's what that feels like. Lying awake at 3 a.m. wondering if you can tell your wife. Being angry at yourself and everyone who said this was a good idea. Now let's talk about fees. On Coinbase's simple interface, fees can total 3% to 7.5% per transaction. You invest $5,000 and make 12 round trips per year, buying dips, selling rallies, swapping between coins because some YouTuber said Solana is the next Ethereum. Annual costs $200 to $1,500. Right, that's 4% to 30% of your capital evaporating before the market even moves. Vanguard's S&P 500 index fund charges 0.03% per year. That's $1.50 annually on $5,000, less than a Starbucks coffee. You're paying the equivalent of a used car every year just for the privilege of trading emotionally. Here's the opportunity cost. Invest $5,000 per year in an S&P 500 index fund at 10% average return. After 10 years, $87,656. After 20 years, $318,637. That's not best case. That's just what happens with boring, consistent investing. For the typical crypto investor who loses 48% of their capital, the 10-year opportunity cost exceeds $60,000. You're not just losing what you put in. You're losing a paid-off car, a down payment, your kid's college fund, the ability to retire 5 years early. Here's what that opportunity cost actually feels like. It's being 45 and still renting because you gambled the down payment money on Luna. It's explaining to your teenager why you can't help with college when their friends' parents are covering tuition. It's working until you're 72 instead of retiring at 67 because you invested your retirement savings in coins that no longer exist. The compound interest you missed doesn't care about your good intentions. If the statistics are this brutal, why do you keep thinking about putting money into crypto? Between 1979 and 2024, U.S. productivity increased 80.9% while your hourly pay grew just 29.4%. The middle class shrank from 61% to 51%. Your dad bought his first house at 28 on one income. You're 32, 2 incomes, and still can't afford the down payment on anything that isn't a teardown an hour from work. Meanwhile, some guy on Twitter just bought a beach house with Pepe Coin. Traditional wealth building feels impossibly slow when starter homes cost 6 times your annual income, and Instagram is full of 23-year-olds retiring on crypto. Financial literacy around crypto is shockingly low. Only 29% of adults globally meet minimum digital financial literacy targets. Academic research found actual financial literacy reduces crypto ownership probability, while overconfidence increases it. The more you know about finance, the less likely you own crypto. But the more you think you know, the more likely you jump in. The Dunning-Kruger effect has a crypto wallet. Marcus thought he understood crypto. 3 weeks of Reddit and YouTube, he knew what blockchain was. What he didn't understand was position sizing, risk management, or that exchanges profit whether he wins or loses. Then there's taxes. The IRS treats every crypto sale as taxable. Short-term gains are taxed at 10% to 37%. You make $5,000 in gains, you owe $1,100 to $1,200. But you probably reinvested it into a coin that's now down 40%. Now you owe taxes on money you don't have. Marcus didn't know about taxes until he sold. Every trade between cryptocurrencies was taxable. His trading generated an $843 tax bill on money he didn't have. He put it on a payment plan at 3% monthly interest. You're desperate. You're told you're missing out. You jump in with just enough knowledge to be dangerous. You get crushed by timing, fees, and taxes. The system takes their cut whether you win or lose. Crypto exchanges are casinos that get paid whether you win or lose. Coinbase generated $6.5 billion in consumer revenue in 2021. When the bear market hit in 2023, consumer revenue collapsed to $1.3 billion. Their revenue tracks your trading spikes perfectly. What kind of business model only works when customers lose money? You only frantically trade when you're panicking, when you wake up to Bitcoin down 15% and sell immediately, when you see some altcoin up 40% and FOMO in at the top, when you're desperately trying to recover losses by catching the next pump. That's when Coinbase makes billions. Your emotional decisions are their revenue stream. The 2022 collapse showed extraction at catastrophic scale. Terra/Luna destroyed $40 to $55 billion in May 2022. Founder Da Quan cashed out $80 million monthly before the collapse. He got 15 years in prison. Your money is still gone. This triggered a domino effect. Celsius bankruptcy. $5.5 billion in liabilities. Three Arrows Capital collapse, taking down Voyager Digital. FTX revealed $8 to $10 billion in customer funds commingled with their trading firm. Sam Bankman-Fried got 25 years. Combined losses exceeded $60 billion, almost all from retail investors who thought they were parking crypto somewhere safe to earn 12% yield. Turns out when someone offers you 12% returns in an environment where savings accounts pay 0.5%, you're not the customer earning yield. You're the yield. Here's what $60 billion in retail losses actually looks like on the ground. It's your former coworker who took out a second mortgage to buy more Bitcoin at $60,000 and lost the house. It's your cousin who can't afford Christmas presents because Celsius froze his high-yield savings. It's Marcus lying to his wife for 13 months about where their down payment fund went. Behind every $1 billion in crypto market cap are 1,000 families who didn't make their mortgage payment that month. Institutional players have advantages you can never match. Better prices, lower fees, sophisticated hedging, and capital to buy during crashes. During the October 2025 crash that wiped out $19 billion and liquidated 1.6 million retail traders, institutions like BlackRock bought over 21,000 Bitcoin during the dip. You panic and sell at the bottom, institutions buy your panic at a discount. You FOMO back in at higher prices, institutions sell to you for profit. Repeat. But Nick, Bitcoin ETFs got approved This is different now. The January 2024 ETF approval was a genuine improvement. BlackRock's fund attracted $36 billion. You get regulated, low-fee Bitcoin exposure through normal brokerage accounts. No private keys, no sketchy exchanges, but the ETF doesn't change Bitcoin's volatility. It surged past $125,000 in October 2025 and crashed to $68,000 by February 2026. That's 45% in 4 months. Bitcoin has had 34 bear markets of 20% plus since 2015. The S&P 500 has had 2. The ETF made crypto easier to access. It didn't make it safer. It's a seatbelt in a car with no brakes. While institutions got regulated wrappers, scams targeting you accelerated. FBI reported $9.3 billion lost to crypto scams in 2024. Chainalysis estimated $14 billion in 2025. The Bybit hack saw $1.5 billion stolen in February 2025, the largest crypto theft in history. Meme coins are completely unhinged. Trump coin hit $5 billion, crashed 82%. Melania coin dropped 94%. Over 15,000 new meme coins launched daily. Most are worthless within 24 hours. The crypto industry spent $133 million on the 2024 election. 48% of all corporate political donations. They bought the most pro-crypto Congress in history. The SEC dropped 60% of enforcement cases. Penalties fell from $8.2 billion to $142 million, a 98% decline. Regulations are loosening precisely when you need more protection. It's like removing seatbelt laws right after a huge spike in car accidents because the auto industry said people should have freedom to choose. Crypto isn't going to zero. Stablecoins processed $24 trillion in 2024. Remittance services using crypto charge under 1% versus 6.2% global average. In countries with broken banking, crypto provides genuine access. But here's how wealthy people approach crypto versus how you're told to. Wealthy investors allocate 1 to 2% of already diversified portfolios. They buy through ETFs, they rebalance annually, they don't check prices, they don't trade. You're told to put 30 to 50% of your net worth into meme coins, check prices hourly, trade on emotion, pay 5% fees per round trip. Same asset, completely different approach. That difference is worth $60,000 over a decade. Morgan Stanley recommends maximum 4% allocation for aggressive portfolios, 0 for conservative ones. 87% of financial advisors who recommend crypto keep it under 5%, most at 2%. This isn't go all in on Dogecoin. It's a small position through a regulated ETF within a portfolio already anchored by index funds and bonds. The difference between a 2% Bitcoin ETF allocation and throwing $5,000 into meme coins is the difference between investing and gambling. For middle-class families building wealth, the reality is overwhelming. A boring S&P 500 index fund at 0.03% fees held 20 years has been the most reliable wealth-building tool in history. Every dollar diverted to speculative crypto trading with 4% to 30% fee drag, 73% probability of loss, and catastrophic volatility is stolen from your compounding future. That $318,637 from investing $5,000 yearly for 20 years, that's real. But that's not best case. That's just what happens with boring, consistent investing. That's a paid-off mortgage, your kid's college. Retirement 5 years early. Actual financial freedom. The crypto gains you see on Twitter, most are fake, survivorship bias, or gains that evaporated in the next crash. Marcus is doing okay now. He came clean to his wife after 6 months of lying, which almost ended the marriage. Therapy helped. He maxed out his 401k last year for the first time. He's got $4,200 in an index fund that's up 11% this year. He checks it once a month maximum. He doesn't trade. When crypto comes up at parties, he excuses himself to get another drink. Some lessons cost $6,153 and a year of marriage counseling. but that $6,153 he lost is gone. It's not coming back. If he'd invested it in November 2021 in VTI instead of crypto, it would be worth approximately $11,400 today and compounding. Instead, he's got scar tissue and a story about financial trauma. Here's what the crypto industry doesn't want you to understand. This isn't a conspiracy, it's a market structure. Exchanges profit from your trading volume whether you make money or not. See, institutional players buy the dips that you're panic selling. Influencers get paid to promote tokens whether their followers gain or lose. The marketing machine spends hundreds of millions annually to package speculation as financial liberation, targeting you specifically because you're desperate for a shortcut and statistically unlikely to understand the risks. The human cost is real and it's everywhere. There's a California father of three who lost $200,000 in the Celsius collapse. A Los Angeles man who lost $340,000 to a scam that started on Instagram, a North Carolina professional who lost $750,000 to a pig butchering scheme and still hasn't told his wife. Behind that 73% loss statistic are real families whose retirement timelines got pushed back by years, whose emergency funds evaporated, whose kids' college savings disappeared into the blockchain. And here's the thing that makes me genuinely angry about all of this. You don't need crypto to build wealth. You need boring, consistent investing over long periods. You need employers that pay wages matching productivity growth. You need housing costs that don't consume 40% of income. You need financial education that teaches you the power of compound interest in index funds instead of FOMO marketing about the next Shiba Inu. The most powerful number in personal finance isn't Bitcoin's price. It's that $318,637 that $5,000 per year produces over 20 years in an S&P 500 index fund. That number doesn't require timing the market. It doesn't require understanding gas fees or decoding tokenomics or trusting an exchange that might not exist next year. It requires patience, consistency, and the willingness to be boring. For the middle class, boring is the actual path to wealth. And the crypto industry is spending $133 million per election cycle to make sure you never figure that out. So if you're sitting there right now feeling like you're missing out, feeling like everyone else is getting rich while you're being left behind, I need you to understand something. You're not missing out. You're watching a wealth extraction machine target people just like you with surgical precision. You have permission to ignore the hype. You have permission to be boring. You have permission to invest in index funds and not tell anyone about it because there's no exciting story to tell. You have permission to build wealth slowly and consistently instead of gambling on meme coins. Guess the smart move isn't to jump in. The smart move is to understand the game, realize you're not the player, you're the product, and put your money somewhere that actually compounds over time instead of evaporating in fees and volatility. There's no prize for being part of the 73% who lose money. There's no trophy for participating in a system designed to extract wealth from retail investors. The real win is making decisions based on math instead of FOMO, on evidence instead of influencer marketing, on your actual financial situation instead of what crypto Twitter tells you is possible. That's how you avoid becoming another Marcus lying to your spouse about where the down payment went. That's how you avoid becoming another statistic in someone else's research paper about the true cost of crypto. Be boring. Get rich slowly. Actually sleep at night instead of checking Coinbase at 3 a.m. The people getting rich off crypto aren't the ones buying it, they're the ones selling it to you.